Okay, so our pal is Boog Sciambi joining us now. Oh, look at that smile. Look how handsome you look. How are you doing, Boogie? Good to see you.
How are you today? What's up,
I'm
brother? How's
I'm
everything?
doing I'm doing all right. Everything's good. I'm staying busy. I'm into the tournament now. I'm not gonna say I'm a college basketball expert, all right? I'm a college football expert. Everybody knows that because I travel the country doing college football, for ESPN radio. I'm not a college basketball expert, but I've been paying more attention over the
Mhm.
last month. I fake it till you make it. You know what I'm saying?
That's right. That's how you got to do it. There's a lot to digest, a lot more teams that you got to pay attention to.
We don't need more teams than the 68, right? I don't understand who was it
No.
I was talking to on the radio the other day. I forget who it was. It was a former coach. I forget who it was that was on with us and wants more teams. The more the better. And we don't need more teams, Boog.
Look, I'm fine either way. The one thing that's always really funny to me, I like to tease the coaches because today's coaches love to bemoan society and society's role in every kid gets a trophy. And then those same coaches complain when they
Good
can't
point.
get into a 68 team tournament. Too
Good
many
point.
kids get trophies, and you're mad because you couldn't get into a 68 team tournament. Maybe you win a couple more games.
No, you're totally right. And it's like, I can't get all worked up. I know everybody is freaking out about UNC getting in and
Yeah,
who didn't get in as a result. Like, I guess West Virginia is that team. I'm not going to sit here and try and make a case for West Virginia. What do I know?
I mean,
But
I could, but and I think that they should be in, but yeah, I don't. I mean,
we're
whatever.
talking about not being able to make a field of 68. You clearly did not do enough at some point in the regular season if you thought you should have been in and you got left out.
Mm-hmm. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, I wonder what you think about this because I was talking about this earlier today as well, where we're so plugged in with our coverage of the tournament, and Joe Lenardi's got his bracketology in the weeks leading up to yesterday with Selection Sunday. I feel like a lot of the drama that used to be there for Selection Sunday, it's
Gone.
not there. It's not there anymore, right?
Oh, I mean, Joe, you could sit there and kill Joe Lenardi, but you go and look at Joe Lenardi the last 10 years, he misses like 3 teams. Like he never misses. So he's figured it out. Yes, we've lost some of the drama, but again, this is the world we live in. The more information we have, we start to suck the fun out of sports and we start to lose perspective. So, for example, everybody in any specific instance, you want to complain about officiating in basketball, you want to complain about umpiring in baseball. Let me be clear. These guys are better than they have ever been, but we have technology that diagnoses their mistakes better than ever before. So they are not worse, just we have more information and more technology. And now we have more information as it relates to the tournament.
Yeah.
And so a lot of that, sort of wondering and storytelling, and the knowables are far greater, and it does make it a little less fun.
What's the proper number of brackets to fill out if you're a fan?
Oh, do what you want. I mean, I'm a one guy. I'm a one. They do one.
Me too. Have some integrity. Fill out one. Hang with them.
I mean, yeah. So whatever. You as a fan though, look. This is look. The world is about college football. Let's be clear. I mean, college football. It's incredible how big college football has gotten. But as an event, there's no way. This event is so much bigger than the college football playoff. It's not even close. In terms of the way it captures that you have people who are not interested who fill out brackets. You have people that understand the phrase March Madness. It captures so many more of the fringe sports fans. I'm not sitting here and telling you that the ratings will be as high as the championship game, but in terms of the total people that this event captures, it's monstrous.
How many Final Fours have you ever been to?
2?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was that work? Was that working, or you went for fun?
I went for fun when I was in Atlanta, when I was working for the Braves, and then, you know what? That might be the only one. I'm trying to think.
I've never been.
No,
I've never been. Like, which is better, going Saturday night or going the Monday nights? If you could only do one.
Oh, I would go the Saturday then. Yeah. I'd rather go to the Saturday. The one thing that I would say in terms of the way it is now, is, they play in these giant arenas, and I understand you want to get more people in there. It would just be, as a viewing experience, it'd just be much better if you could play it in a basketball arena as opposed to a football stadium.
Yeah. What, Boog, you did mostly Big 12, games throughout the season. But let's talk for a second here about the SEC. What do you make of 14 teams getting in? I mean, you had Oklahoma, Texas losing 2 of every 3 conference games, and they still get in. What do you make of that?
It's fine. I mean, again, we can go round and round on what are you trying to accomplish? And I think there are a lot of people that want different things. Are you trying to get the best 68 in? If you're trying to get the best teams in, then I don't think that you can argue with that, because the level of competition is so high. So I don't have a problem with it. I do think that the SEC this year is as good a league as maybe we've ever seen.
Is it because of the money? Like, is that why?
No, I would say that it's a confluence of events, because ironically, in terms of the money, it went the opposite way in terms of football, right? You would think that in terms of football, it would have done that. But I think that more than anything, there's just this random thing that took place in the SEC. Look, in the past, you used to be able to take Power 5 schools and match them up against the mid-majors. And the mid-majors usually had 5-year/older players, and the power conferences had younger, more talented players. Now, the Power 5 conferences have both the one-and-dones and all the older guys. The thing that took place in the SEC this year, Fran Fraschilla gave the stat the other day, I want to say 75% of the players, will be gone. So, like, it was just there's a ton of final year players, along with a whole bunch of talent.
How many teams does the SEC need to get into the Final Four for it to, I guess, justify how great the conference was this year?
I think the only way that, it's like Jordan, LeBron, right? There's a segment of the population on the Jordan bandwagon that they have a story and they're just going to do 6 rings, in perpetuity. What I would say to you is that I think that for an actual argument for, the fringe people, they're going to have to get 3 or 4 the way the Big East got St. John's, Villanova, and Georgetown in 1985.
Did you do any Duke games this year?
I did not have Duke this year.
But you saw him a bunch.
A lot. I saw Cooper Flagg a lot.
Yeah, what do you make of Cooper Flagg, and what do you think he looks like in the NBA?
He's pretty great. I mean, he can do just about everything. He looks to me like he will be a huge impact type guy in the league. So it's one of those rare instances where he was hyped up to the hilt coming in. He seemingly lived up to all the hype. And now in terms of, draft predictors, it seems to me like everybody's sitting there saying, yeah, this is probably what it'll be.
Do you think there's ever going to be a time, and I'm not saying that Cooper Flagg's going to be this because it's super unlikely, but considering how much these kids get paid when they're in college, like if Duke doesn't win the national championship, and the Washington Wizards draw the number 1 overall pick, just like, right, fuck it, I'm going back to Duke for a year. I'll make $3 million in NIL. I'm going to try and win a national championship.
Do I think that's possible? Yeah. I think it's also, the one thing that you'll have is, like, you'll have guys who I remember a few years ago, Drew Timme, who I think last check is either in the G League or playing in Europe, but he was a big guy with Gonzaga and a really, really good college player. He was making like $800,000 in NIL, and he wasn't going to get drafted or drafted very high. And he's like, "Yeah, I'm going to come back and make money." So that's not what you're asking, but I would say, I don't know. Everybody's got the fear of injury thing. I think it's greater in football. I'm not going to say absolutely not to your question. I do think that there is the possibility of that happening. I would also say this. I don't think I don't know what this whole college thing looks like in 10 years, right? I don't.
That's what I was going to ask you. What do you think it looks like in 10 years from now?
Yeah, I mean, it's the combo of NIL and the transfer portal, right? And look, it's way different than when than when we were growing up. The one thing that I would tell you, and I know a lot of people don't agree with this, but for me, the pendulum has swung strongly in the opposite direction. And do I think this is sustainable? No. Do I think it's good the way it is? No. But that said, the coaches have had the power for so long where they dictated everything. They could leave whenever they wanted. If the kids transferred, they had to sit out a year. The fact that the kids can come and go as they please and have power, I don't think it's so bad for the kids to have some power for a little while, for the kids to have as much power as the coaches for a little while. Because for the longest time, the coaches had way too much power. And as it swung back the other way too far, yeah, probably. But if you look in terms of the amount of time, everybody is going to be okay for the kids to have an inordinate amount of power for a little bit of time. And it's going to make you uncomfortable, and hang with them.
I saw on television the other day, you've worked with him before. Dick Vitale made his return on TV there with Dave O'Brien. Very emotional.
You mean TV?
What did I say?
TV?
Oh, yes, of course. We're doing that. We're doing that bit again. Right. I mean, 20 years ago. Well, come on. I talk the way I talk.
I know.
Dick Vitale makes his return there. And I know you've obviously worked with him a bunch. What is that like? The times that you've worked with such an over-the-top personality?
Well, I got to work his last few games before he got sick, unfortunately. He's an icon, man. There's this, when you walk around and the way the people react to him, it's as much off the air and then on the air. Like to be sitting next to him when he goes full Dick Vitale and, is shouting and screaming and is excited, is awesome. And there's a part of, like, for me working with him, I don't know how many games I've done with him. I'd say like 10, 12. But there's a part of working with him that is kind of like you're the little kid on the couch that used to watch him and you're like, wow, I'm really sitting here doing this with him. He loves it, right? And he's playful. And then for me, because of my baseball background, he's a huge baseball fan. So he loves to ask me baseball questions both off and on the air. He does an amazing work for childhood cancer and for the V Foundation. I would say, look, when you look at where college basketball has gone, he has as much to do with it as anyone. And to get a chance to work with, I'd say the two guys that I had that feeling were both he and when I got to do some games with Raftery. I think both of those guys were, I'd sit there and watch random college basketball games in college just as a fan. And then the next thing you know, I'm working with them.
In 8th grade, I did a presentation on Dick Vitale in school.
Yeah, it's amazing, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, and I'll text with both of them, and it's pretty surreal. But I love both those guys. Dickie V he's amazing, and he's synonymous with college basketball. I will say this. I do wish that at some point we could have at ESPN gotten the whole NCAA tournament because, I mean, CBS and TNT and TBS do an awesome job. ESPN owns college basketball during the regular season, and then, it basically the conference tournament ends, and it's like, all right, see you later, everybody. I mean, to give you an idea of just like how funny it is in our business, just how little people contemplate broadcasters or broadcasting. I would say the question that I get as much as anything as it relates to college basketball is, are you going to do any March Madness?
Yeah.
No, that's on CBS. I'm not allowed to do that because, you know what I mean? Like, they don't contemplate, but like, yeah, I can't. And I would love to.
Or my favorite is, who would be the best broadcasting duo? It should be Jay Billis and Dick Vitale doing the games.
Yeah, that's right.
And like, okay, but who's doing the play-by-play?
Yeah. No.
What do you mean?
Yeah.
What?
Are you going to do any games with Chris Berman or Dave O'Brien? No, probably not.
Boog, what do you watch? Are you watching anything these days? Lots of travel, or have you finished Netflix? Are you watching any shows?
I am not in the middle of watching anything, but I've watched some stuff. I will tell you a show that I got to give mad props to. Do the kids still say that? Mad props?
Yeah, we say it in my house, yeah.
And it's a Paramount show called Lioness.
Oh, I watched that.
Zoe Saldana. I thought that was solid, man.
Yep. That's one of those Taylor Sheridan shows. He does Yellowstone.
So that I had not seen Yellowstone, but I like The Recruit. I thought The Recruit's just good, solid Netflix, fun, and just it's sort of interesting and spy thriller, but also funny. I would say by far my favorite show of the last year was Shrinking. I thought that was.
Oh, my wife loves that. I don't watch it with her, but she loves that.
That show's spectacular. Harrison Ford is amazing, and the guy is it Brett Goldstein from Ted Lasso, who's also in it, is a writer.
Top two.
It's that show. Here's the thing that I would say, and it's funny. You find a lot of people that don't love that show. I used to talk to Levitard about this. It's so much easier to write negative. It's so much easier to write dark, write negative, and to write positive, inspiring, uplifting types. It's just, and to be able to pull it off is not easy. And the Ted Lasso guys with Ted Lasso and Shrinking are able to do it. And man, there's just times where like I can't do the dark stuff. So
that was my initial experience with Ted Lasso. 5 minutes into the first episode, the very first scene, like they're on Ted Lasso and Coach Beard on the plane on the way to overseas. Like 5 minutes in, I said to Tamara, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this show. Yeah. Like it was so different than, and it's like, oh, okay, I get it. And it's an incredible show. We just got done watching on Hulu Paradise. You know what that is?
A couple of people have said, how's that?
Oh my God, I loved it. Loved it. Great cliffhanger. And Sterling K. Brown, he's a good actor. That's a good show. It's a little bit ridiculous at times, but we can get past that. You should watch Paradise. That's a good show.
Okay. Noted.
All right. Boog, excellent job. Good catching up with you. Appreciate you, man.
Love you, buddy. See you later.
Love you too. See ya.